Well. We survived the rapture. We're still standing.
We're not dead.
We're not dead.
However, I would like to address something before we start talking about the eclipse. I received this text message from my ex. Hope you go blind and then your plane crashes, but I'm not bitter about your lies and self-mutilation. Hey, I chatted up some older, over-surgeried whores in Williams yesterday. It was like looking at your fish-face Botox future. Ugh. Again, not bitter. Okay, I'm reading this text on here because he hate listens to us. Not only does he hate listen to us, but he has introduced this podcast to the other folks in the tiny village that he lives in to join the party and hate listen to us too, because they are majority Trump supporters. The recent cosmetic procedure I had done turns out saved my life. What I mean by this is I had to get blood work done and found out that I have blood sugar issues. So I have changed my diet, really cut back on alcohol, and test my blood sugar like Wilford Brimley advises. I'm not diabetic, and I don't want to end up one. My ex somehow thinks my surgery is about him. It's not. It's my body, my choice. And I made the right choice because I am more than happy with my decision and surgery. He told me he would never speak to me again, and my surgery was back in March, and I'm still being harassed with death wishes. I'm also kind of just putting this on here because if I end up being murdered, I'm pre-solving my own murder, folks. Okay?
Well. So how was Ohio?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Ohio, if I'm to equate Ohio with an area around here to help people understand, Ohio is like one giant Needles, California. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I've been through Needles, the dispensary,
Oh, okay. Times. Yeah. It reminds me of that. Like it's not you might not want to be out at night after dark.
Wait a minute. Wait, my dad's from Ohio.
Sorry.
I mean, my family was from Ohio. Now that might explain.
Is that why he moved?
My family.
Is that why he moved?
No, because my grandfather was like an alcoholic and committed suicide, and the Catholic Church, in their wonderful thinking back in the day, this early 60s, was when a family member would commit suicide, you excommunicated from the church. The family was excommunicated. When the family needs the church the most and to rely on the church, they just kicked my family out. So my family moved back to where my grandmother's roots were in Vermont.
Okay.
So that's how...
Okay, so, that makes sense. That could go into our next lead about apparently the church still has a very strong hold on the state of Ohio. Well, so let me tell you this little tidbit. We were trying to go to CVS on Sunday to get some snacks and beer and alcohol for the room, to have for the room. Yeah, as you do before, because you don't want to just spend it all at restaurants buying booze there. It's way more expensive. So we go to a CVS. I go and grab beer because I'll drink beer. But some of the friends I was with, they don't like beer. They're either wine drinkers or hard liquor drinkers, right? So we're in CVS, and I tell my friend, I'm like, well, they also have wine. So we go to the wine aisle. There's all these signs taped up to the shelves that say no sale of wine on Sundays. And so we were making jokes about it, and then there was a employee standing nearby, and my friend asks him, so we can't buy wine today? And he's like, no, he goes, no, it's a weird rule that CVS just came up with. They sent us all these memos saying, we're not to sell beer. And I go, no, okay, that's not CVS doing that. That's your state law doing that. So right. someone in the state, the legislature, passed a law that you can't sell stuff on there, because there's no way that CVS is going to give up that money if they're allowed to.
Right.
So,
like in Massachusetts, Indiana, you can't buy beer before a certain time, before like noon on a Sunday because of
church.
But you can go to church and drink wine, right?
I know.
Because it's the blood of God.
Right.
But you can't
buy wine. Can't buy your own red wine. And then, so
all the winos have to go to church? Is that what their plan is? To get the winos to go to church?
Right. So it gets better. So the employee goes, well, I could even understand if, because he's like, then he's like finally getting what we're saying, and he's like, I could even understand if they did it where like they wouldn't let you sell during church hours. And I'm like, and I made the joke, I'm like, I can't, because I believe in the separation of church and state. It should never be like that anyways, in any of the states as far as I'm concerned. But I realize that states' rights, they're allowed to do that, right? So, at one time in Arizona, I think you couldn't buy alcohol at all on Sundays. None of it. No alcohol on Sundays.
Right. And we're talking Cleveland.
Yes, we are talking Cleveland.
Huh. I mean, because Cleveland seems like a kind of a progressive city. I mean, but Cleveland, the city can't have its own rules, obviously.
Right.
Supersede.
Okay, Cleveland was weird too. So I happened to fly in on Saturday. So I'll get to Sunday too. So I had a hotel booked for 2 nights, for Saturday night and Sunday night, right?
Right.
I fly in, I get there Saturday morning. I got in really early in the morning, 6 a.m. So when I got in the airport, I saw, you can take a downtown train or a train from the airport into downtown Cleveland. I'm like, perfect. I love doing this when I go to cities. I love taking the trains and whatnot. Right. Even though there's weirdos on the train, it's free entertainment. You know what I mean? Right. And it's cheap. Like train ride into the city, $2.50.
And how far is the airport from down? Because I've been to the airport in Cleveland, but I haven't driven into Cleveland.
It's about 20 minutes outside of.
Kind of like how it was in Kansas City.
Yeah, okay. About that. Okay. So train ride was cool. Come up out of the station, walking in downtown Cleveland. This is a Saturday. Okay? Right. So none of the high-rise businesses, obviously all those offices are closed because it's Saturday, but there's still restaurants there and coffee shops, and nothing is open.
I've heard that. I've heard it's like The Walking Dead on the weekend.
Nothing is open. Not even the restaurants. I'm like, why are the restaurants not open? I finally, after walking for, I would say about 20 minutes, finally find a restaurant that's open. And I'm starving. So I go in there and I have an omelet and a coffee. Lovely people. That place was great. So that's one of my highlights of Cleveland, right? And I made the joke when I went in there. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys are open. I'm like, what's with the city being closed? And the ladies started laughing too. I was like, it's like, I'm so glad I found you, because the air is chilly as shit in Cleveland. I was like wanting to get warm, All
right, but say, because I know like the stadiums where the Guardians play, the former Indians, and the Browns play, aren't those stadiums downtown?
The Browns Stadium is right next door to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Literally right next door. You see
right on the lake, right?
Right on the lake, right situated right next door to the Rock Hall.
Okay. Well, I wonder if those businesses are open like during Sundays when there's a game.
Like Well, my thing too about, okay, normal times of the year, I was like, I understand that it closes down too on the weekends, but not when there's a fucking solar eclipse event happening.
Right.
And not only is solar eclipse, you know what else was going on in Cleveland?
No.
The women's college Final Four playoffs was in Cleveland. The men's was in Phoenix. The women's was in Cleveland.
With that Caitlin Clark, like that phenom?
Yes.
Wow.
So they had 2 special events going on. You would think they would have shit open to me. I'm like, do these motherfuckers not want to make money? I mean, you would think that money talks, right?
Who's on the Cleveland City Council?
I don't fucking know, dude. It was nothing like when I went to the one in Nashville. In Nashville, I mean, you had people on the street too, the street vendors trying to sell. Everywhere you walk, there were people trying to sell stuff. Everything was open. Everything was open super late. Like all the boot stores were open to like, I think like midnight or something like that. You know, it was crazy. It was open all night long because, hello, you want to make money.
Yeah.
You got all these people coming to town.
Yeah. Speaking of Nashville.
Like, duh.
Speaking of Nashville, did you hear about the country star Morgan Wallen? He was like, he's like the number one country guy.
I did not.
He got arrested over the weekend he was at Eric Church's bar, Chiefs, and he's on the roof and drunkenly throws a metal chair off the roof, almost hits a couple police on the ground. You get like 3 felonies for this. You
can hit anyone. What a dick.
This guy he's got the world by the balls. And he does something stupid like this. Now, this is the same guy who rose to fame a few years ago because he's the one, I don't know if you remember, that he was caught saying the N-word on a video.
I remember that.
Yeah, and like all the country stations were dropping him and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But he became really popular because of that.
By the people who like to use the N-word.
Yeah.
Are probably like, oh, fuck we're buying all of his albums. Okay, well, maybe that guy, really quick he should probably think about not drinking then. You're not a good drinker if you're doing stuff like that.
He, at the time...
You're supposed to be having a good time.
He said that he had quit drinking after that incident and
begged
for
forgiveness
with the country music community.
Good idea, buddy.
And and just one more thing before we get back to Ohio. The thing I was thinking about that is, say if it was Beyonce who just released a country album and everybody's flipping out. Say if Beyonce got drunk and threw a chair off a roof of a building.
She'd never be forgiven. Never.
She would be shunned from the Nashville community, and if the police ended up shooting Beyonce over that, everyone would have been like, "Well, she shouldn't have thrown a chair."
I know. It's It's crazy.
Anyway, so back to Cleveland.
So back to Cleveland. Back to my reservation. Okay, I booked a hotel back in February. Okay.
Right.
For my 2 nights.
Luckily you did back then because the prices were...
Right. So I booked it it was a cheap price. I was like, well, crap, maybe they don't know the solar eclipse is going on, right? I was like, cool, I scored. I got a good deal, right?
Well, cheap hotel in Cleveland. I can see where this is going.
So it's actually outside of Cleveland. It's in a little town called Elyria. Anyways, I think that's how you say it. I could be butchering the name. Anyways, after you book a hotel, you sometimes even get a message from the hotel itself saying, can't wait to see you on April 6th when you check in for your stay. Right?
Yep.
Then I got one like the week before saying the same thing. Okay. Correct?
Yeah, I can see what it's
So guess what happened to me the day that I get there? At 3 p.m. 3 p.m. check-in time, I get an email from this fucking hotel that says, sorry, your reservation has been canceled due to renovations.
What?
They said that, sorry, your hotel has been canceled due to renovations.
Did you go to the hotel itself?
No, I was pissed. I ended up calling. I probably should have called there.
Okay.
I called Priceline, and told them what had happened. I'm like, this is what they're doing.
All right. What's the name of the hotel that you were booked at?
Motel 9.
Motel 9. Like, they can't even
Play
do
on
Motel
Motel
6.
6.
So they flip it over Motel 9. Oh, there's your
I'm
first
telling
mistake.
you, it was a cheap hotel.
What they did, okay, I can guarantee you what they did was they realized that they could price gouge because of the eclipse.
No kidding.
And canceled your
and
reservation.
got rid of mine. Right.
Yeah.
They realized that, oh shit, there's a solar eclipse happening.
They realized it
we're
2
not
days
honoring
before.
this price, so we're doing this. So anyways, yeah, so that's why they're getting a bad shout out. And I called the hotel, and that guy told me, he's sitting there, no ma'am, you can't come here. We're doing renovations. He's like,
But he's working there. He's manning the phones.
yeah, we're doing renovations. I told Priceline all of this. I go, this is what they probably did. And I told him exactly what you said. I go, there is a solar eclipse happening right now. So they probably canceled my reservation, and now they're charging somebody like $200 or $300 to stay in that room.
Right.
At this point, by the time I had gotten the message, it's already like 6 o'clock at night anyways when I started dealing with this. I didn't check my emails I didn't get the email right at 3 when they sent it. So I was like, so my thought is, well, fucking A, I need to try to find a place to stay because the eclipse is happening here.
Right.
Right? And I'm losing daylight and I don't want to sleep in a park somewhere. You know what I mean? Or in my friend's truck. We don't want to sleep in the truck. So needless to say, call this other thing. They're like, I call Priceline. They're like, okay, well, we have to transfer you over to booking.com. So folks, be aware. If you book through Priceline, which I'm planning on never using them again I've
gone through this.
This is so ridiculous. I'm like, I didn't book through booking.com. I booked through you. You're transferring me here. So then I transfer there. The lady's like, well, ma'am, I can send you an offer. I have to end the phone call so I can send you the email offer and then you can stay at this other hotel. Never get a fucking email offer. So I was like, at this point, I'm fuming. You know me. So I'm like, fuck it. I have to go back onto a thing. And I went back onto Priceline because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bitch at them and tell them, then you're paying for this hotel stay when I booked my new room. So we find a place. We had to go back near the airport to stay in a hotel. Get this place. Get this. This place. Now, granted, we were desperate. Okay? Desperate. This place was disgusting. It was like you open the door to the room, a waft of urine hits you in the face. It's an extended stay, right? Then it gets better. The bathroom does not have a shower curtain. How do you, if you are like in housekeeping or whatever, how do you not see that there's a fucking missing shower curtain? How do you see there's no shower curtain?
You just leave extra towels to mop.
Well, you know what? That's what we did because we had to shower. So we're like, fuck it. Put towels on the floor. And I'm like, apparently they don't give a fuck anyways.
Hey, Snow, can you hit the light there?
Yeah.
Oh, now I can see your face. You're like the eclipse. You were totally obscured.
Okay, so yeah, moving on to so we only stayed there the one night, thank God. Then we actually got a decent hotel the next night, and ironically, it was Motel 6, but it was actually a really nice one. We drove by there first. I'm like, no.
Are you sure the Motel 9 didn't just change the?
It probably one of the screws fell loose and it
turned upside down.
Right, no. So I told the guy when I went in to like check in, I was like, I'm sorry I had to drive here first before I was going to book because we've had the worst experience ever, in Cleveland.
Sounds like a fun vacation.
Right. Well, it's a fun story to tell. And the main thing is I got to see my friends who I miss dearly, good friends of mine. We had an excellent time. We were laughing our asses off, the stories, because
trying to make the best of it.
I have another great story too.
And you're like, this is going to make great material for the next podcast.
Oh, totally. So the eclipse itself was amazing. The day was sunny. There wasn't any clouds. It was awesome.
Before we get to that, okay, let's walk through. So on Saturday, before you had the hotel experience, you went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
How was that?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is good. I just don't like how the museum's set up. Like, when I go into a museum, I'd prefer to tour one where you don't have two options on a way to go, and then you go the wrong way, so then you have to come back and then go the other way. And I wish they had better direction.
One of these ones that's like the aquariums where you say start here.
I know. Well, they tell you where to start, but it's like when you go in the different like little areas, sometimes those have two-way, and I'm like, look, I don't really want to miss stuff. And I was thinking it would be more like where they would tell you like more about like when the bands were inducted and all that, and they'd have the bands, like it was kind of like a mishmash.
Right. So does every band that's inducted have a display of some sort?
I think so. I think so. I don't know who all the inductees are.
Like if you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame, you go into this huge room and there's a plaque of every person that's in the Hall of Fame. And then you would have certain exhibits for different players, eras, or World Series, etc. Like that. Now you sent me a picture of the Springsteen one.
Right.
What was that jacket, though? Was that a jacket he wore? That didn't look like a Bruce Springsteen-ish jacket.
I know, because to me it looked kind of small. I'm like, Bruce isn't...
he's not a big guy. He's my size.
Oh, well, yeah, but it looked like somebody that's like maybe like 5'7" and like, little.
That looks like more like someone like Nils Lofgren would wear. Just looking at it, but who knows? Yeah,
they had like a lot of cool outfits from the bands, like stuff that the bands actually wore, and it told you like when they wore them and like on what tour they were on and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have complaints about the Rock Hall. That was fun.
Speaking of Springsteen, though, just for a second, I cannot wait because we both started the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which. Watch it. All you people that say, we want shows like All in the Family and that Archie Bunker type of humor.
Like, all the people that sit there and say, you can't say stuff like that on TV anymore and get away with it. I'm like, bullshit, watch Larry David. Yeah. You can do it if you're funny and not insulting. The problem is there's a fine line between that. You got to be able to tell good jokes. Or else, maybe you should shut the fuck up.
And that was the same way with Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker would say inappropriate things, but you knew it was his character being dumb, saying inappropriate things. And that's the same thing with Larry David's character. You know his character is going to do dumb things. Yeah,
because he does dumb things all the time. Yeah. Like from seasons 1 through 12, he's done... tons of dumb shit.
That being said, and my only teaser is wait till you get to episode 9 and Bruce Springsteen is in it. I have not laughed that hard at a sitcom in so long.
I can't wait. He's already in a snippet of like season 2. Okay. He says something nice to Larry because Larry, it's like the episode where Larry gives a water bottle to somebody standing in line waiting to vote in Georgia and gets arrested for it. Which actually happens.
Yes. Yeah.
But they make jokes about it.
All right, so did you see like a Tom Petty display?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did Tom Petty have?
What did they? God, I should have taken pictures because it's like, oh my God, I can't remember. And the whole time I was like, I got to see some Tom Petty stuff. I saw Tom Petty stuff and now I can't remember because there was so much cool shit that I saw.
How about Nirvana?
Yeah, there was stuff from them too. Like, but not all the bands, not all of it was like pieces of their clothing. It was like maybe like
a guitar.
Some of them was guitars. Some of them was like, it looked like maybe like the album cover. I don't know, or some kind of sign in there.
How about Prince?
Prince, yeah, I saw Prince too, but I can't remember what it was. I can't remember the things that they were.
I've seen his outfits before. He's a tiny little guy.
Well, yeah, he was small. I mean, I think that's why he always wore those high heels too, so he could be taller.
All right, so get out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then you have the hotel ordeal. Did you go to the Christmas Story house?
We went there. We went there on the day. We didn't go on Sunday because on Sunday we were kind of like, we went and found that other hotel to stay at that was decent. And we're kind of like, we took that day. They wanted to go shopping, so we went shopping. Because we'd spotted a Goodwill. So my friend likes thrift stores. So I'm like, all right, cool. No, but it turns out like I found 2 really cool tops there. Thank you to whoever previously owned those, because they're awesome. But so we had a situation at the Goodwill. This is another funny story. So my friend had a bunch of stuff to try on, right? And she had her cart. You can only try on like 6 items at a time, right? So she was only taking 6 items in there. There were 4 dressing rooms. She was only taking 6 items in there at a time, but sometimes she'd come out, put the 6 that she didn't want or whatever, or put the ones she wanted and then take 6 new in, which is what you're allowed to do at like Ross and any other store. They just don't want you bringing all of them into the dressing room at the time. And she had to wait in line to go into a dressing room. So anyways, these people would come up and ask, they kept asking me because after a while, like I got sick of looking at stuff. I was done. I'm like, I'm only buying these 2 tops. I'm done. So I just stood there and waited for her. And I was like out of the area. So I don't know why they were asked. They were probably asking to be polite, but they're like, are you waiting in line? And I'm like, no, go ahead. And so the one time this woman comes up to me, she's like, are you waiting in line? I'm like, no, go ahead. Now, I wasn't paying attention to which dressing rooms were open, but you would think that people would look for feet, right? Yeah. So I tell her that. I'm like, no, go ahead. She still just stands there. She stands where she is, where she was asking me. So then this guy walks up and goes and opens door number 4, turns back, like gives a look, like he knew that she was waiting to go in there. Turns back and gives a look, still didn't give a fuck, and then goes in there, and I go, that was kind of rude of him, like, you were waiting, and she goes, that's why I asked you if you were waiting in line, and I was like, whoa, how am I getting blamed for this? I wanted to go, was I supposed to escort you over there? I'm not working here, I'm not an attendant, right. Like, you gotta go, you need to walk your lazy fucking ass over there and go in the dressing room yourself. You dumbass.
So Cleveland people aren't friendly.
It's almost like they live in the Twilight Zone. So then
well, that's because they can't get wine on Sundays.
Right? So then the lady that works there came over, and Serena had came out and said she came out to get like a load of stuff, right? And 6 new items, right? She did have a lot to try on. I'm not disputing that. But there were still 3 other.
How was her husband taking that?
He wasn't there. He was at Walgreens. Okay. So, anyway, she came out again, right, and got stuff. And the lady goes, "Ma'am, if you come out of your dressing room again, you need to let someone else use it." And so Serena went back in the dressing room, put her own clothes back on. Took everything out of the dressing room, everything that she had in the cart. She's like, she comes out and she says out loud, she goes, I waited in line just like everyone else. Was I supposed to? She was saying it out loud so the lady could hear, not directly at the lady, but out loud so the lady could hear because the lady was going through the go back things. She goes, was I supposed to come out here and check if other people wanted to use the dressing room and then stop and then wait and go back in there? I waited just like everyone else did. I was using up one thing. And I was standing there watching the whole time, like watching people go in and out. And I go like this. I go, I can tell you this much, Serena. I go, you're faster than the guy who went in there with 1 item, I don't know if he's still in there jerking off. How does it take you that long to try on one pair of pants? I'm like, and then there was other people who took like 3 and 4 items in there. They were in there for 20 minutes. How does it take them that long? You came and switched out your stuff like continuously. And then I'm like, the thing I can't get is with the amount of stuff that you were going to keep, this is well over $100, even at Goodwill. It's like they lost selling all that money. Probably was like more like over like $200. I'm telling you, she had a ton of stuff, right? But they had a truck, so they had the ability to drive it home. And this Goodwill did have a lot of they had a lot of nice stuff at it. You know, some of them it depends. Like you'll get ones where it's like a lot of crummy shit. This place had a lot of good stuff. And it's like they lost a lot of money by being rude to you and saying that.
So Cleveland has good fashion sense, at least.
Yeah, but, well, how good is their fashion sense if they get rid of it and give it to Goodwill? Good for people like me that get to go in there and swoop it up.
Yeah, maybe it's the shit that didn't make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right. I know.
So, then, when did you make it to A Christmas Story house?
Okay, so we decided to go Monday before
The eclipse.
Okay. We decided to go see that. Well, the thing about that, so we go to the Christmas Story house. I got to see the actual Christmas Story house. Like, they let you walk around it without tickets to the backyard. Do you know what's beyond their backyard?
Well, I mean, if it's anything like the movie, you had that fence.
Where they're located?
No.
Like, the property, don't get me wrong, is beautiful.
Is it the same as the movie? Like, do they have that picket fence around the back?
It's like a wooden fence. Yeah, it's a nice wooden fence.
Where the guys in the mask were coming over the fence. You know what I mean? You should pick him off with a BB gun. Like,
I don't quite remember like that part of the movie, but if you look if you're at the actual house, we peeked over because I go, ew, look at what's beyond the fence. It's like some huge industrial thing that there's smokestacks and shit, and it's some kind of industrial plant.
Really?
It's disgusting and depressing. No, and it's like, that's what's beyond. Like, there's like a huge ditch, no other homes or anything over there. Huge ditch. And then there's like, you see the smokestacks. And I'm like, I would think that this would be more like neighborhood stuff because of the movie. I go, this is kind of disgusting and depressing.
Right.
We didn't end up getting to go to the Christmas Story house because, okay, when we get there, you have to do a tour, and it's a half-hour tour. They didn't have one available until 12:45, and I was like, I don't want to infringe on the eclipse time because we still needed to go eat before we went to the eclipse. We hadn't eaten breakfast yet or anything.
So, do they have like the leg lamp in the?
Yeah, we got to see all that.
They do have,
and
that lamp in the window.
Yeah, and we went and saw we went into the gift shop so you could see a bunch of stuff in there, and then they had like the Bumpkus house, and then they had like the cars and stuff parked across in the garage across the street. Okay. Don't get me wrong, it was cool. I would have loved to have done the tour, but so I tried to do online tour thing, right? I looked up the ticket process for that, like if it's better to buy online. This is how they do it. If you buy online, Ohio is apparently behind the times too. If you buy online, your tickets have to be mailed to you. I'm like, there is no way they'll get here in time. But for a disclaimer, it's not for any particular day. So you would still have day or time, but they're good for a whole year. So if you bought tickets online, you'd still have to go there and then like wait for the time of the tour. I'm like, are you guys insane?
Who the fuck is the governor of Ohio?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, this is why I'm like, you know how like, I've always said the saying, like when I'm like, don't want to have to deal with certain people anymore. You know, it's like, yeah, dude's kind of like Ohio. Now I get to say the state and mean it. Dude's kind of like Ohio. Been there, done that, have the t-shirt, never need to go back.
Yeah, see.
Never need to go back.
See, what I would do, because I want to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I would make sure I planned it around something else, anywhere else. Like I would go into Cleveland, go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and go somewhere. Anywhere.
That's what I suggest you should do. So you should, if you want to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I would go, you're going to be there all day. So do one night in Cleveland and then try to go someplace cooler after.
I have family.
What else is around there?
I have family in Buffalo, so it'd be like a 2-hour drive.
There you go. Then go visit your family in Buffalo and have buffalo wings and delicious buffalo pizza.
Okay, so then I was watching the weather because it didn't look good, for the eclipse in Cleveland. It looked like it was going to be cloudy, but how was it?
Oh, it was
the eclipse itself. How was it?
The only day that it was cold, but I think that it was still sunny, was the first day I got there, the 6th. And then the 7th was a nice day. The sun was out, not cloudy. And then, Monday, I was surprised because it said it did the thing for partly cloudy, like on the weather app, it had the sun and the cloud. But we got out there, it's like minimal clouds, not even enough to where you still can't see the sun. And then by the time the eclipse rolled around, it was totally clear. It was cool. The day of the eclipse, we went down by the lake and watched it there.
How crowded was it?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't like when I went. There was obviously a ton of people who decided to do the same thing, go out by the lake and watch it.
Right,
but it wasn't overcrowded.
And you bought your glasses beforehand?
Yeah, I had my glasses beforehand.
Yeah, here I had a welding helmet at work, so here it was like 2/3 of it, and it was cool. That was cool to see that.
I know.
So did it get totally dark out?
Yeah, it gets dark. It basically, it doesn't look like midnight dark. It looks like kind of like dusk.
Right,
where the sun is gone down.
Like about 7:30 at night now.
Right. Like where the sun's gone down, but it's not pitch black yet,
you can't see the stars or anything like that.
Yeah, because the sun's still that powerful. The moon covers it, but you see that ring around it. It's like the sun is still motherfucking powerful.
Right.
You get to witness how powerful the sun actually is.
Right.
And it's awe. And you're just like, I got like a little, I get emotional when it passes. I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing.
Was there anybody Donald Trumping it? Like looking up at it?
I didn't. The only person I've ever seen dumb enough to do that is Donald Trump. No, that's it. Everybody else had their glasses on,
Oh, good. Did people? I heard this happen in New York. Were people just discarding their glasses on the ground afterwards?
Oh yeah, there was
what the fuck is wrong with people?
people are disgusting. People are pigs. It's like what else?
You see this. You see this.
And we're in a park with trash cans everywhere. There's trash cans all over.
You see this. It's one of the coolest science nature things that we can witness is when these eclipses happen. It's fucking amazing to see. But then you're just going to drop.
I know. And seeing something like that, my hope is always because when I see it, the emotional thing that I get is the connection with the planet, that we're very tiny and everything else is so big.
Did you feel that spiritual release?
Yeah,
you felt better. Did you feel better?
Yeah, I was jumping up and down. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then the people next to us.
Were you like, it's the rapture, take me away?
No, that's for the Fox News viewers.
Okay.
Remember, they sat there and all the religious nutbags, Not that I have a thing against religion. I'm talking the people who pervert religion.
Okay, so you were in the cool area. Nobody was expecting the rapture to be washed. Not like
there weren't people down there
not like
doing like that. Yeah, I didn't go to Waco to witness the eclipse.
I felt bad for your mom. I was like, why did she go to Waco?
She went, you know where they went though in Waco? She said it was really cool. Those people that do that home remodeling show that Joanna and I forget her husband's. I just saw at my doctor's appointment today. They were playing that show on the on the TV while I was waiting. They are from Waco. Located in Waco. Okay. So my mom went to their establishment and they watched it there. The establishment where they do their design center or whatever. I guess they had some event happening there. Okay. So that's where they went and watched it.
So I guess Waco has the cool part of Waco. Well, Waco is cool. And then you have the Waco. Yeah. The Branch Davidian Waco.
My mom didn't go to the Branch Davidian one.
How big is Waco? Was she a ways away from that?
I don't know. I've heard that Waco is about the size of Kingman, but I'm not sure.
Now, obviously, I wonder where their compound is because obviously it's not at the site where that happened.
No, I think it still is.
It's still at that site?
I think that, it burned down, but I think I don't know if they rebuilt. No, I don't know much. Well,
I spoke to somebody last night who had been to Waco, and I'm like, why would he go to Waco? And it turned out his work had sent him there. I was like, okay, all right, you're not a psycho. And I'm just like, and he said they had just leveled the place, like it was just a field now. They just leveled it, cleared it all out.
Okay.
But I don't know if they've this was back.
But
in
there
the late
still
90s.
There still are Branch Davidians because
I've
watched the documentary and they're still active members to this day.
Fuck,
they're still they believe what they believe.
Right.
You know?
And those are people. How disappointed do you think they were when that moment occurred? You know,
and the world didn't end.
And it didn't end. And
they were.
I'm still here.
It was probably a fucking huge letdown.
Do you think in their heads for 1 second they were like, "Fuck, I'm a bad Christian. I didn't get taken away."
I know. Wasn't somebody making a joke about that? They were saying.
Bill Burr said on his podcast,
"You didn't get selected."
Bill Burr said on his
how big of a piece of shit Christian are you?
Yeah, that's what Bill Burr said. Bill Burr goes, well, it's not like the rapture wasn't true. It just means that you were a shitty Christian. All your friends are up there square dancing with Dale Earnhardt right now.
Right, yeah. I had heard that. I was like, because I was dying laughing. I'm like, oh, God, yeah, you're not. Maybe you should try again for the next one's I think in 2044 or 2042.
That's a long time away.
You guys better open that good book and start fucking praying.
How many fucking raptures do we need? I mean, obviously you and I are
and then that's the joke too. How many times have we heard that it's the end of the world and these fuck sticks have been wrong every fucking time?
Yeah. And
I'm tired of hearing it.
You know, we don't want to do this, but we have to. Like fucking Fox News. Fox News said, during the eclipse, during those, 3 or 4 minutes?
4 minutes.
The border is going to get overrun.
It's a great time for the illegal aliens to cross. And then somebody made a joke was it Jon Stewart saying, wouldn't they just wait till it's dark? in completely dark and not just for 4. They got to be pretty fucking fast to make it through in 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, I know. Were the border guards there? Red Rover, let Pedro come over.
And then it gets, the Fox Nutwing conspiracy gets worse. They were trying to say, they're trying to get over here. So we've got these illegal aliens who are trying to cross during the eclipse to get here so they can vote for Joe Biden. Okay. First off, they can't even register at this point.
Right, because you cross, you get detained, and you have to wait for the
You wouldn't even be able to register. So the people that believe they're bullshit, I'm like, don't you ever think about what you had to do to register to vote? I'm like, don't Don't you ever fucking get that? You would have to
I don't
establish
know.
a residence.
Yeah, and why would they be so angry about it anyways? Because they were going to get raptured anyways and taken to the heavens, and God was going to come down and fucking... We have representatives that were saying that the eclipse and the earthquake in New Jersey, which was under Trump's property, the epicenter of the earthquake was under Trump's property.
Maybe that's the real sign.
Right. Now, personally, I just think that he threw a big plate of spaghetti against the wall. And that's what caused the earthquake. But
I thought it was ketchup that he would throw against walls.
it was a plate of spaghetti, I think.
I thought he only ate, like, Big Macs and chocolate cake.
I don't know.
Just, I get it.
And I was disappointed myself because I was thinking, please let this rapture be true because it would solve a lot of problems.
I was thinking maybe since it was right under his property, that like Satan maybe was opening the doors and been like, "It's time, it's time, my son, you're coming down."
You think Satan was just like, "No, we don't want you here."
Right. Maybe Satan's like, you're even too lame for me.
Right. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, we don't know if anyone's raptured. I mean, we can't truly know. It's just the people that wanted it the most weren't. But that just means that they were bad Christians, right?
Yeah.
It could have been a rapture for all we know.
It's probably because they are bad Christians. It's probably because they are in real life. Like they're not living by the what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
You know?
Jesus, love thy neighbor.
Yeah. They ain't loving their neighbors.
Yeah. Fucking, how would Jesus feel if he went to fucking Ohio? Here, drink my blood. Or God, this, whatever. Like, this is my blood. And you know what? They'd be like, no, you can't on Sunday, my holy day, my day of rest. I can't get wine on my day of rest.
I know. It's crazy. I will say, I had a Jesus moment when I went though, and I was waiting for my friends to get there.
Yeah.
I had a homeless guy approach me, so he goes, "I don't want any money, but I really would like something to eat." So I took him to get him some food.
What?
It's like, I mean...
How did you find a place that was open?
I know. Well, that's what I told him. That's the funny thing. I go, "I'd love to help you out." I'm like, "Is there even anything open?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I found," he knew of a place that was open. It happened to be like a little, like Asian thing, kind of not Panda Express, but something like that was like true Asians working at it, and there's always the joke that Asians will even be open on Christmas,
You
to
saw
make
a
money.
Christmas Story.
They want to make money. Yeah.
They'll bring you the goose on the plate where you chop the heads off with a machete.
Right. So yeah. So I bought him some Chinese food because I was like, you know what? I go, I was thinking in my mind, I go, I'm having a really shitty day, and I'm to the point where I'm about to go nuts. I'm like stuck in a town with nothing open. I'm waiting on my friends to get here.
When you went to the Asian place, did you have that going through your head?
No, because it's not Christmas time. And then, so I'm like, you know what? If I do, I thought to myself, I'm like, because I could have said no, but I was like, maybe if I do something good, it will calm me down a little. Okay. And I won't be in such a pissy mood because I can't go anywhere.
So you did what Jesus would do.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I actually did feel better. I'm like, good, at least this guy is going to at least get one meal today, I don't know how long it was since he was last ate. He was pretty skinny. And he was a nice enough guy.
Yeah. Good for you. All right, so on your rating of 4 stars, what does Ohio get?
I'm going to give it 2 stars because
Midland.
I will say this. Anytime we went out to eat, the service was very good. Even better than here in Kingman. You know how here, like, they're forever, like, you don't see your waiter.
Please.
Anytime we went out to eat, We had lovely waitresses that were good, and the food was good everywhere we ate. So I'm gonna give them 2 stars. But I will say that I'm glad that I've been able to check Ohio off my list of states that I haven't been to, because I do have the goal to visit every state. It'd be a long time before I'd want to go visit another city there ever again, but not at all. But I can at least say I've been to the state of Ohio.
Okay.
So there's that.
Right. But you didn't think, though.
But I still had a good... Hey, the most important thing was the eclipse was fantastic. It was everything that I thought it would be. I got to hang out with my friends who I've missed for a while now. So I really can't complain.
Right.
And I have all these funny stories.
So what it was is, it was like, so Cleveland is just like this really hot guy with a bland personality who's kind of disappointing, but he's really good in bed and gave you a great 4 minutes.
Okay, I wouldn't say that he's really great at, maybe like mediocre.
Okay.
I mean, not terrible.
Right.
But yeah.
All right, so you had a great 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shit. All right. Well, to think though, you got us here, you got Pennsylvania, you got Georgia, and you have Ohio, and these are the people that are going to decide our fates.
Okay, I haven't been to Georgia yet.
Pennsylvania? You must have been to Georgia. You must have been to Atlanta. You've been to the Atlanta airport at least, right?
Nope.
Never? Oh my God.
Mm-mm. No, but Georgia is really high up on my list. I really want to go visit Georgia. I really do, because I heard that Georgia's a fun place to go.
I heard Atlanta's a great city.
So, and I've also heard that Savannah's really pretty too. So, Georgia, I can't say anything bad about. I will say I like the state of Pennsylvania. Because I just went to Philly. I had a great time in Philly. We even went out to Amish country. I like the more rural parts. I didn't have any complaints about Pennsylvania. I mean, I haven't been to all the cities there yet, but Pennsylvania didn't bother me. Ohio, I cannot believe that, just based off of the fact that these people think that it's the stores that they work for, these are the folks who are actually deciding the fate of our country. Because not only, after we went to CVS, we went over to Dollar General too to get something else there that CVS didn't have. So my friend was sitting there telling the story about CVS and the whole wine debacle, and the guy was like the same thing. He's going, well, yeah, but like we got something through Dollar General that said that too. It's the corporations. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's the lawmakers. The reason why I think it's a big deal is because my thing is with people, they're like, I don't want to pay attention to politics. It does nothing for my life. No, your life is affected by laws that are passed. Right. And I can prove it to you. This is proof. And the fact that you don't know that, and you guys are the one deciding the fate of this country, scares the living shit out of me.
That was like when Dr. Phil was on Bill Maher a few weeks ago, and he was like, well, I don't really want to talk about politics. And Bill Maher's like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And Bill Maher would start rattling stuff off, and Bill Maher would be like, no, that's a political issue because of this.
Right. People don't realize how many things actually are political issues because there has to be laws made about them. Yeah. And they don't get it. Like the two things, they don't understand that. And that's what irritates me, that it comes up to them to decide the fate of the United States. Right. It's mind-boggling and depressing.
Right. So our fate is going to be decided by people who can't get their wine on a Sunday. And they're going to overindulge on Monday and get out on Tuesday and vote.
And they're probably going to blame Biden for why they can't get their wine on Sunday.
Right, yeah.
It's all Biden's fault. We used to be able to, now we can't.
All right. Well, I'm glad everyone survived the rapture. And
I know, I'm glad we're not dead.
There's a certain few I wish who had been, but What can you do?
Oh,
Maybe next time.
I don't wish it on anyone.
Yeah.
I was even sad when I heard that like Texas was gonna have really bad weather, because I'm like, that sucks for anyone that goes to any of the places to view the eclipse. To spend all that money and then not be able to see it would be just terrible.
Right.
But it turns out it was okay if you went to Waco, because I think everywhere else was cloudy.
That was probably Biden's fault somehow.
The sun. The clouds coming out, all Biden's fault.
Yeah.
He ruined it.
All right, well, hey, I'm glad you had a 2 out of 4 experience.
Yes, thank you.
2-star.
I'm glad. I can't wait for 2044 or 2042, something like that. I don't know.
All I had.
I'll be ready to go.
All I had was REM going through my head.
If I don't, it's the end.
Yeah. Well, it starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, and blah 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 blah.
Right. Yeah. If I don't get murdered, I'll be looking forward to the next eclipse.
Yeah. Well, let's hope snow doesn't get murdered.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and hopefully, I don't think the people that hate listen to us get this far in the podcast, so
yeah,
they tune us out.
Right.
All right, y'all. Hey, we will talk to you soon. Oh shit, we got other shit coming up that we need to talk about, but in the meantime, we will talk to you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.